In this episode, I'm going to give you all the information and insider tricks and pro tips that you can use to win your first Hyrox. We're going to take you through every single run and every single station, including all of the information and stuff that I used to help me win my first Hyrox, so you can take it and help you win your first Hyrox. Okay, let's get started. Number one, the first run. The first run is what I like to call setting the trap. Okay, so what do I mean by that? You will hear this a lot. Don't go out too quick in Hyrox, but the majority of people still will, and you can use that as your secret weapon. Let them go out too fast, okay? But what you can do is once you're at the starting line and that starting line takes off and everybody will go very, very quick. Yeah, for the first 10, 20 meters, you'll have to go with them anyway because the crowd's going there. If you stop, you'll bump into people. But very quickly move to the right and just let them run through. In Hyrox, they're supposed to be fast lane on the left, slower lane on the right. What you're doing here is letting them run on ahead and go too fast while you slow it down and get into your pace. The first run pace should be at about 7.5 out of 10. Okay, you probably need to go slower than you think. That's called setting the trap. It'll lead you very nice into the next station. Okay, station number one, the SkiErg. This is the second part of setting the trap. Now, when you finish that first run, don't stop as soon as you finish the run. Continue to run through the rock zone until you get to your SkiErg. That's an insider pro tip, whereby a lot of people will come in the in arch after that first run and they'll stop running or they'll go much slower until they find the ski station. Don't do that. The rock zone time is still on and you want to not stop running until you get to that SkiErg. So very important every time to do that. Okay, back to the SkiErg itself. Listen, you should have had some technique. I'm not going to show you on this video how to do the SkiErg. You should have trained that already. But if you're going to set the setting on the damper, make sure you do that, then get into it. But again, like I said, take it easy on this one. Let everybody else go out too hard again. You're still setting the trap, letting them go too hard so that you're going to take it nice and easy here, so that eventually you're going to overtake them in the rest of the race when they gas out. You should really get into a rhythm with this one, and you shouldn't really be doing more than a 7.5 out of 10 effort, okay? Calm, breathe, get into it. Don't care what anybody else is doing, or if people that you started alongside are flying off very quickly. Let them. That's what you want. If you look at most people that have won the recent Hyroxes, go on to Hyrox website, pick any race, pro, open, whatever, and check the winner, what position they were in whenever they were in the first run and the SkiErg. You can also use an app called Rocks Fit and also High Result, and I guarantee you the majority of people that win the race did not be in first position after the first run, nor would they have been in first position after the first ski. Most people want to start off a bit slower and gradually finish stronger. You don't want to start off first in those and then die away as the race goes on. That's another insider pro tip. Okay, now we're on to the second run. So you finish the SkiErg. Again, once you finish that SkiErg, run out of there. Don't just jog out of there, run out of there. Get through the rock zone, get back on the course. But again, this second run, you only want to be getting into your rhythm. You only still want to be at that 7.5 and 8 out of 10. If you're blowing too hard, you've gone too fast, okay? So this start of the race, these first couple of runs and first couple of stations, just think to yourself, 7.5, 8 out of 10. Slow it down, keep it nice and calm. Okay, so you've got through the second run and now you're going into the next station. Station number two, the sled push. This is a tough one. So basically, you should have a technique for the sled push, whatever way you're going to do it. I personally think the hook arm approach is the best. You can check it out on Instagram. There's loads of people telling you how to do the sled push. But what I would say is break up the lanes into halves, okay? So push half, take a rest, shake out your legs, get some air in, and then push again the other half until the other end. Again, repeat the process at the other end, shake the legs out, take a breather. Remember to breathe all the way through doing the sled push, okay? It's very important to keep that oxygen coming in. If the sled push feels really heavy, much heavier than you've been used to in training, don't panic, okay? Calm down. That's very normal for most people. These carpets in different cities and different locations can be fast sleds. They move quickly, or they can be slow sleds. They're very grippy. If you get a slow set of sleds, what can you do about it? Nothing. So just calm, breathe, push, get through it. Still try and keep below about an 8.5, 9, but you will feel this station tough because it takes most of the strength out of you. Run 3. Okay, you've just finished the sled push. Your legs are going to feel heavy coming out of that. Calm down, they will come back. Just start running, get into your rhythm, and try and get back into that 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Okay, the first couple of 100 meters are going to be horrible after that sled push, all right, but just stick with it, believe in your body, your breathing will come down and you'll get back into your rhythm. Station number 3, sled pull. Okay, another tough station, all right. If, like me, you wear gloves, just run straight to the rope and get ready to start pulling. If you don't wear gloves, get chalk, okay? It'll help with the ropes. There's different techniques, so what you should do is have a technique beforehand. However, insider pro tip, at the beginning, a lot of people when they're pulling the sled will go down into a very deep squat. I did it whenever I first started, but I've realized that takes a long time to come up from there, okay? So I think it's a little bit better just to have more of a bend in your back, and most of the time you'll hear people saying you shouldn't do that, but not exaggerate it, but just a little bit more. You don't have to squat down so low, squat down a bit, but then reach forward. Another insider pro tip for this, your feet can't cross the line, okay? But your arms can. So get your toes right as far forward on that line as you possibly can, and then reach your arms forward as far as you can. Another pro tip for the sled pull, don't start pulling with a loose rope. Get that rope nice and tight, okay? The start of the sled pull is more difficult because it's further away and there's more slack in the rope. So you have to get that rope nice and tight before you start pulling because you want it to have that tightness in it. Then stand up, arms straight, pull back. Watch behind you, don't put your foot on the line or you'll get a penalty. But at the end of the pull, give it a little pull like that as well. As I said, the further away the sled is, that's the toughest. Once it's getting closer to you, because that rope is tighter, it'll get easier. Okay, the sled pull has just been finished. You're probably going to have quite a high heart rate there going into the next run. But again, just get running and get into your rhythm. At this stage of the race, it's okay after the sled push and sled pull if our heart rate is quite high, up and around 9.5 out of 10, but focus on starting to bring that down, especially in the runs. So for this run, again, we're hoping for more of an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, station number 4, burpees. Everybody hates them. With the burpees, just think about taking it quite easy getting through them. There again is a lot of different techniques to burpees, and again you'll find those on Instagram. But whatever you do, just get into a rhythm and try to preserve energy and keep going. So go at a cadence that allows you to keep going. Look, your heart rate's going to go through the roof with these burpees, okay? It happens to everybody, so don't worry about it. Elite 15 even say this as well. Me personally, what I do is I'm a big fan of the step up approach rather than jumping up. Now I actually use onto my knee first, okay, and then step up, because I feel it just saves me a lot of energy and it means I can kind of go unbroken with all the burpees. I don't need to stand and stop and take a long break, or I don't need to lie on the floor so long. So my opinion is, at the very least, do the step up approach, but play around with doing the knee onto the step. Burpees are going to jack your heart rate. Don't be surprised if you feel you're a 10 out of 10 after the burpees. But once you're getting back out onto that run after the burpees, trust yourself that your heart rate will come down. Just get running. You might panic. I did the first time it happened to me, but just believe once I run and get into my rhythm, my heart rate will come down, and it will. Okay, after the burpees, that's run 5 you've done. Get through that. That will have started off feeling like a 10 out of 10, but you know, try and bring that down to about an 8 out of 10. Okay, station number 5. This is the rower. This is actually a great station because it's the first time you're going to get off your feet, okay? So you get a seat and it does feel like a little bit of a rest. Most people do say that use this as an opportunity to really get your heart rate back down under control. Now, don't be surprised if you're sweating a lot, you're tired, things are tough, but it will be a time where everything calms down a little bit. And it's the one time you get to look around yourself, see the arena that you're in, look at friends and family that might be cheering you on, and give a little smile, because you will be bringing that heart rate down. Keep working, okay? Keep at it. There's plenty of erg videos out there on YouTube and Instagram about different SkiErg techniques and and row erg techniques, so you should have a technique going into it. But one of the key things I forgot to mention is once you start, don't mess about getting into it. Be really efficient getting into the rower. Get your feet strapped in and get pulling, okay? I see a lot of people wasting a lot of time messing about getting into it. You should be practicing getting into your rower in your training so that you're efficient getting into it and efficient getting out of it as well. Once you finish your 1,000 meters, put your hand up to the judge, make sure they see it, get out nice and quickly and get on your run again. Okay, after the rower, you're now on run 6. This run should feel pretty good because the rower, while it's not easy, you will have got a bit of a breather. So again, with this run, you maybe can think about pushing to an 8.5 out of 10, but do remember you've still got a bit of the race to go. So depending how you feel, judge it, but you still want to be very much in control, okay? There's a lot of the race still to go. Station number 6, farmer's carry. With the farmer's carry, again, if you're wearing gloves like I do, and I highly recommend people to wear gloves, then you can just go straight to grab those kettlebells and just get straight into the farmer's carry. If you don't wear gloves, do get the chalk as well. It's going to make a difference. With the farmer's carry, try not to see it as picking them up and starting to walk. Just grab them and start to go. Run if you can. If you can't run, do a speed walk, but don't dilly-dally through this one. Just pick them up and go. That's the attitude that you want to have. If you can go unbroken, brilliant, but if you have to set them down, you have to set them down. But really for this one, grin and bear it and try and go through it unbroken if you can. Make sure with the farmer's carry that you set them back down in the right area, the right way up. If you don't, you will get a penalty. Run number 7. Okay, you've just finished the farmer's carry, you're on to run number 7. Again, try and have a good run here, but try and keep the heart rate in control. But we're talking about an 8.5 out of 10 on this run in terms of perceived effort that you might have. You've got lunges coming up next, so you don't want to blast this run. You want to save a little bit for that, but you do want to be in that rhythm. Station number 7, the lunges. Once you're at the lunges, get your bag, get it on your shoulders and start lunging. There are different techniques to lunging. The very best can go through unbroken. What does that mean? It means they just go one step after the other without taking any break. I can't do that yet. But what I do is rather than stepping and stopping, I do a little tap, and you'll see a lot of people do this. And the reason for that is it gives me the feeling of stopping, so it eases a little bit of pressure on the muscle, but also it keeps my cadence nice and slow. Again, with lunges, you want a slow, steady all the way through without too many breaks, rather than going way too hard and then dropping down and needing to stand there for a few minutes to recover, and then way too hard and dropping down again. They are going to feel tough. It's a horrible place in the race to do the lunges, but you just have to get through them, okay? And once you come out of there, put your bag back in the right place, okay? And get on your run. Now, this run is going to feel awful because those lunges will have taken a lot out of your legs. So they're going to feel like jelly. Just get going, okay? Just get running. You will get into your rhythm. Your legs will come back to you. And you can be happy that it's the last run, okay? So don't blitz it, but if you're feeling good and you get your breath back, go at it in the confidence that this is your last run. Okay, you've just completed run number 8. Okay, you're coming into the wall balls. The wall balls is a very tough station, and mentally it's very tough for people. Again, if you're like me and you wear gloves, which I highly recommend, you can just go straight to the wall balls. If you don't wear gloves, then get the chalk up your hands, because those wall balls will be slippy. Everybody will have been racing beforehand. They could drop through your hands. You should have a tactic or technique or strategy, I should say, going into the wall balls. The very first time I did it, my strategy was to do 26 wall balls, take a short break, 25, short break, 25, short break, and 24. That's what I practice in training. That's what I did. It worked beautifully for me. There's different ways of doing it, and indeed since then I've tried around with a few different ways. You might do 10 sets of 10. You might do a big set of 50 and then 5 sets of 10. But whatever you've done in training, hopefully it works on the day. But sometimes at this stage, you don't know how your body's going to feel. You could feel great, then do more. You could feel awful and you're just getting through it. But this is where you need to dig deep. My pro tip for the wall balls: whenever you stop for a break, you'll be wanting to get your breath back. It's never going to come back, no matter how long you stand there. So if you wait for your breath to come back, it won't happen. So it's better off to take the break, but already have decided when you are going to break, how many seconds you're going to take. So for example, what I do is I take my break, then I take big breaths, and I have a rest of somewhere between 5 to 10 seconds. If at 10 seconds rest, I'm still absolutely gasping, puffing, can't breathe, doesn't matter. I pick up the wall ball and I go again. This is also whereby a lot of mental strength is going to come in. So different things I use to help me get through is I think of my family, and I think, you know, if I 50 to go, I say, okay, let's do 10 wall balls for my brother, okay? Let's do 10 wall balls for my mother, you know, that type of thing. It sounds silly, but it's true. Thinking people are important to you, bang out 10 on each one and get through them. On the wall balls, it's okay to be at a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10, maximum effort, that's okay. Maybe don't start with your first 20 or 30 like that, try and ease into it. But by those last 10, 15 wall balls, it should be all you can do to do them. So that is really leaving your heart on the line, throwing everything at it, literally, and going for it. All right, whenever you finish the wall balls, very important, sprint over that finish line. Don't dilly-dally, don't take your time, the clock's still ticking. So finish the wall balls, get over that finish line as quick as you can. Photo finish. Once you cross that finish line, the cameras are going to be taking pictures of you. So try your very best to smile. If you want to do a jump, do a jump. If you've some pre-routine decided for it, get your hands up in the air, go for it, no problem. But it's a good time to remember the cameras will be taking pictures because it's a picture you're going to have forever. Very important, once you do finish the race and you get a bit of a break on the stage and then they usher you off the stage, don't forget to get your badge, okay? I forgot to get mine in my very first race in Dubai, which is a real shame. So I don't have that finisher's badge, even though I won the race in my age group. So make sure you get that badge. There's also a professional photographer at the end where you can get a picture beside your time, okay? So make sure you get that picture because it'll come out on the app that they use with all the photos. And it's a great picture for you to have because you've completed your first Hyrox. Very well done. Okay, that's it. So that was every single station and every single run. I hope it really helped you. Okay, that's the kind of tactics and strategy that I used during my race, and I hope you can take it now to use yours. Thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.